Yeah, yeah, okay, hello again. In today's video, I want to talk about the four seasons and four seasons. I know, this kind of the way I'm filming this is low-key gay for me. I know how it's for y'all because I'm used to put like a phone down and speak like that, but I cannot do it at the moment. But yeah, getting back to the four seasons. So as we all know, what is the four seasons? Four seasons is the cycle that we see every year, every year long, where you have spring, which initiates the birth. Then you have summer, which is the life itself, where everything is already like bearing fruit and ripening and is ripe. Then you have autumn or fall, the moment when everything starts to low-key die. And then you have winter, the death period, where everything is dead. And I can divide them into like four different, let's say, words, which are, for example, spring would be birth, right? Initiation of something, because at this moment you plant seeds. At this moment, to some degree, the seeds start to grow. It's even like seen. I mean, like it's seen everywhere. It's seen everywhere, and like if your grandparents or you yourself are into like garden and shit, farm and shit, then this is the time when usually people start to plant their shit. Like in I don't know, somewhere around like late March. I mean, like maybe every season. I don't know, 21st of March. Then you have the second section of the quarter, which is life itself, aka summer, the moment when everything starts to low-key live. You have everything ripening, you have everything already getting to its let's say stages of development and actually being grown, where you can pick up that fruit and actually eat it, or in general just the vibe itself shows that it's a life section, where the day is longer, the nights are shorter, the day is hotter. And I think at this point the summer is like at the highest point or something, which makes the earth reach the highest, or like that particular place on the earth where is summer reach the highest point of like heat and shit. Yeah, and then you have the third section, which is autumn, or aka fall. Even the name itself speaks for itself, fall, where you see everything low-key dying off, where the green turns into yellowish, orangish, reddish, brown, then falls down like on trees and shit. And now you have the fruits that were already ripe are getting to the point where they are overripe, and now they're being rotten, so they're rotting. Now you cannot eat those fruits. Now those cherries, or those plums, or those peaches, which were juicy as hell, now are actually going on the position where they are rotting. Then you have winter. Then you have the time when everything is dead, when everything cannot move, when the nights are longer, the days are shorter, where the most coldest point of the cycle is being expressed, or shit like that, right? And then even if you look like so you have a cycle, right? You have actually a cycle. And then even if you will look at the cycle itself, and you will start from the birth, So let's say you start from the birth, even like when you take a clock, right? Usually a birth would be on the left or on the right side. Even like you can see it on the map where you have east and west, which are on the left or on the right. Then you have 6 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and 6 o'clock is usually, not usually, but like most of the time nearing the time when you have a sunrise, right? Or you have a sunset, which is opposing to that, and so like that. Then you have so you start from the left or the right side, doesn't matter. Let's say you start from here, then you have the birth evolution. You have this birth evolution where you go up, you're getting up, you are being born, you're like the development gets up and shit. Then it gets to the highest point, which is summer, which is I don't know, south or something. But on the clock you would say it's like 12 o'clock, right? Doesn't matter if you look down or up, you can interpret it in different ways. So now you're at the highest point, now you're on the top of the mountain. Now it's like everything that you were reaching for, you're already at the top of it. It's like exaltation. In astrology you call it exaltation. When a planet, you have a planet, you have a sign, and you have a planet which is exalted in the sign, which means the sign likes to get there, but it can overburn itself, right? So when you go on the top of the mountain or in that summer point, you you actually live, blah blah, you enjoy it, blah blah, here and there. But then after that point, the highest point, there's only a way to go down. You cannot go any higher, right? You can only go down now. So at this point you're going down, and now you're reaching the fall segment. When you're going down, everything is falling down. Now you have the actual fall. Everything is falling down. 6 p.m. or some. The sun is going down. Or for example, in Egyptian mythology they would say the Ra goes into the underworld, you know. So you have the Ra on his like chariot going down to the underworld, aka setting and shit. So yeah, then you have the fall segment, and then you go down also to the highest peak, but already opposing to the highest peak which was before. So you had the highest peak which was before, aka summer. Now you have the highest peak, but completely an antonym. Yeah, like you have synonym and antonyms, right? Antonym opposing to that highest point in summer. So you had highest point in summer, the longest day, and the highest heat. Now you have it opposing, but also the highest point, also 12 o'clock, which is winter, right? Which is winter. Also, like the shortest day, but the longest night, opposing to the longest day, and the shortest night. And then you have the lowest heat, or the highest coldness, or I don't know what the fuck. So you have here opposing, and you have on the left and the right opposing, right? Where something goes up or birth, and then you have something going down or fall, and shit like that. So yeah, that's basically. I mean, like I have 8 minutes. I already have 8 minutes, and 11 minutes is my limit, it says. So I'll try to like split it or make another video for like to continue it part 2 or something, you know. Yeah, but so that's the cycles, and these cycles is not the only shit that you see outside. As already I said before, I brought like few examples where you can see this cycle of like hostel 4 seasons, right? You have it in your clock, you have it outside, which is basically your clock. You have it outside, so you have dawn, you have sunrise, then you have the highest point from 12 to 2, right? The hottest time when the sun is at the most highest point. And then you have night, which is winter or something like that. So already few representations, but that's not only the representation. Then you also have representation, and this life cycles, it also goes to actually everything. You can see that on trees, you can see that on even like in your internal world, right? You have this also in your internal world, where different aspects of you inside you, as let's say feelings, thoughts, ideas, experiences, and shit, and so on. You also have them inside of you, and okay, I don't have time for this shit. I'll be back. Oh yeah, so as I said before, you also have those 4 cycles of life, not only outside of you, which is visible everywhere, with seasons, but also with also different stuff, but you also have it inside of you, which goes towards different ideas, which goes towards different thought processes, interests, passions, and stuff like that. So one of the examples, let's say, I will take one of the examples, but you can use it as a math formula for everything else. And then, yeah, so let's say you have an idea, right? You got an idea of you going out or something, right? You created that idea. You made the setting for it. You made the concept. So I mean, like, the idea itself of thing is already you building up it from different thoughts and different criterias, right? Because you know, okay, this will be this club, this will be this company that they will go out with, this will be these drinks that they'll drink. So you already, it's like the birth initiation, right? And you put it all together, now you have one big idea. So you gave birth to something. Then the more you, let's say, swim in it, the more you live in it, you inside of that idea, but you already painted out. You had an idea of you getting out, but now at this point in the summer part, you are giving life to it. You're imagining yourself taking that shot. You're imagining yourself talking to other people. You're imagining yourself hearing to the music that you like, and so on and so on. And you're actually living inside, and you're painting it. So you are living. You're making the birth particle that you gave birth to, a idea. You're coloring it. You're making those fruits. Those fruits are ripening low-key, but it's not the end cycle of actually ripening, as you can have it in the saying, you reap what you sow. Because you reap what you sow, you planted it, then you sow when you're like, okay, I got this from everything. But at this point, you just color it. It's like the first stages. It can be like, it doesn't even have to be like already the second full stage, you know. It can be one of the cycles, which within another cycle, which is within another cycle, which is within a bigger cycle, and this bigger cycle is within a more bigger cycle, right? And the most biggest cycle would be the idea itself, and you're experiencing that idea then. But yeah, in the summer point, you're actually just giving life to it. So now you're in your emotions, now you're in that vision. I mean, like, the best to maybe experience what I'm saying is like when you go to bed, because you have everything dark, you are about to fall asleep, and then you get those like thoughts, right? Different ideas, and you first, the idea is initiated, right? Then you just lay down there, and you just you can maybe actually more visually paint it than you do it when you just go on the street like me right now, you know. But yeah, then you swim in that shit, you paint it, you're hella emotionally, right? Summertime, where you have 3 zodiac signs, of 2 of them are hella emotional, right? So this but I will continue with that. And then after you give life to it, you lose your interest. You already maybe have another picture, you give birth to another part. Maybe you already moved out from that club, and you already are heading home in your mind, right? And you lost interest to that part when you were the idea of you being in the club. So you are giving depth to it. So it's now a fall season, right? Now it's fall. Now you're forgetting it. You still have it maybe in your mind, but with time it gets more and more into the part of winter. And then you have winter where you completely forgot about it, and you're not, either you're mourning it, like to mourn, you know, not a good morning, but like you mourn a death or something, person, or you just completely forgot about it. Now you're completely into another shit. But there was like this little transition of you, even like death, even everything, like you settling everything down. So you had the death process, aka the fall process, when you kind of separated from it, and then the death process is when you do that cold movement, you know, you do that cold movement and you like settle everything down, type shit like that. aka also Capricorn, Aquarius, and yeah, Capricorn and Aquarius energies mostly. Pisces is like a little bit different because it's mutable, you know. It's more about going from one position into another. So Pisces is between winter and spring, so it's like this little point in between, as well as Virgo. That's why I say 2 emotional signs in the summer party. Yeah, and then you have winter when everything settles down and you do this like both movement, like okay, that's how it's gonna look like, type shit like that, right? Then you exited that idea of you being in the club. Now the new cycle starts. Now maybe you have a new idea on a new field, or you have the same idea on the same field. So now maybe you, since it's went a whole cycle, it's 1 year old, let's say 1 year old. It's not actually 1 year old, but it's one cycle older as it was before, right? So now it's more knowledgeable. Now you don't have to, if you'll get back to that idea, you don't have to start everything from beginning and build that shit up again as you built it before. But it's already 1 year older, one cycle older. Now you just add on it. You just add something on that field which was already, I don't know, fertilized, or how you call that shit, you know, when you do that in the farms before. Because like if you already have a land where something was growing, the next time it's gonna be easier for it to grow there, shit like that. No, so at this point you just add shit onto the first idea that you had. Now you go to the same cycle, but now you give different births maybe to the same idea of you being in the club, but now it's more knowledgeable. Now you can add, now you don't have to build it from the new, now you add to it. Now you add maybe different concepts. Then those different concepts you also go through these 4 cycles, and they also being added to it. Now depending on how many cycles you spend into this shit, so knowledgeable that idea will be, so much old, so many cycles old that part will be, that idea will be. But even that itself is, you can say, a cycle within a bigger cycle, you know, because then you're building all this shit into one idea, but and all these concepts and you have different cycles, but those different cycles is wait, okay, you can still hear me though. And those cycles that you are building is within a bigger cycle, which is maybe the concept of the idea itself. Now you're building a bigger idea, a bigger vision. Now you're building all these ideas the same level as the first idea for a bigger, more mature concept, you know. So you going through different cycles is you low-key being in the summer part of that bigger cycle, because you're living in it. You're just coloring pictures, you're making the roots, you're making the branches, the shit, the seed that you planted, and then going out from the ground, you're coloring that room more and more and more. So those like different cycles that you did, and all this adding, you can zoom out and be like, oh yeah, I was in the summertime of a bigger concept, because you were coloring shit, right? And then at some point you already went to the highest point, you already enjoyed, you had the most feelings, you already went through that peak point of orgasm, or you actually went to the orgasm point. Now you don't feel orgasm anymore. Now you're only going down, you're going to the fall time, to the fall segment. And the thing is, if you yourself are not understanding the cycles, you may still be connected and still try to put life to that concept which is already in the fall time. But it's just life, you know, it's the cycles, it always goes through that shit. And you maybe will get lost and get drowned, and also you will get attached to that concept going into fall. So you, with this concept, will go to the fall segment. So now you don't feel orgasm anymore, you feel depressed now, because you're going down. And due to the fact that you didn't let it go as in fall, as you had to do it. Because it's fall, you just let it go. I mean, like, it's fall, you have idea, it goes to the fall segment, you just let it go, it will go to the winter segment, then it will come back more knowledgeable, you know. It's like you don't even have to reach for it in your pocket, it's gonna like jump out of your pocket one time or another, just like that. You know, you'll go on the street, you'll see something else, and you're like, oh yeah, like for example, you're making music, right? You're making music, you're walking, and you're like looking at the building, you already like had some thingies, you already had like, let's say, a hook, right, or a first verse, and you were not able to write a second verse, and you have to like, let's say you have few options, but let's say in this case you have two options. Either you let it go and just do another shit, or you sit there and feel bad for yourself because you cannot continue, and then you think like, oh, I feel bad because I cannot create, I have this creator's blog and shit like that. But if you would let it go, let's say you let it go, then you go on the street the next day, or even the same day, you walk on the streets and you just like look at the building and you're like, oh shit, or you saw something happening and you're like, oh shit, I can make out of this an allegory and add it to my track as a second verse type shit. So already, you see, you had this like cycle, due to the fact that you let it go, it came back more knowledgeable, now you're just adding to it. So yeah, so getting back to the part where if you're getting attached to the thingy which goes through the fall and then winter, then you're losing yourself, you're getting overwhelmed, you're getting depressed, you're getting all this crap that you don't need, due to the fact that you don't understand the cycles. And those cycles work with everything, right? You have emotions, you have interests, as I said before, you have ideas, you may have an interest in a girl, and then you may lose it, and you'll be like, am I gay or something? When it goes to the fall transition, right? To the fall segment, you'll be like, what? I'm not interested into her anymore. Am I gay? But you're not actually gay. You're just like, yeah, you already went to the highest peak, you already saw everything what was possible. Now you just have to let it go. And you use that cycle as a tool or as tool, I don't know how people say, but I heard it. You use it as the bones of your ancestors, which laid the road for you to walk on. Now you walk on something which was already made. Now you don't have to go from the beginning. Now you already have a road which was built there, and you're like, why do you have to build another road if I already have a road here, as the cities do, you know, mostly. I mean, like in Vienna you have that shit, like in the city center you have all the, I mean, like it's iced, it's like cool and shit, thematical and stuff, but still, I just wanted to say that you have this thing there too. Yeah, So like you can look at it and be like, should I build another road, or should I use this road for, and just like build something on it, which then will be more greater, and I don't have to waste so much time or so much energy into something. The same concept can go back to the girl where you lost interest and you can either drown in it and thinking you are gay or some, or another thoughts, or you can be like, oh yeah, maybe that's not my type anymore, or maybe that's girl, there's a reason why I'm losing interest and shit like that, you know. And that goes for everything. You can also have it with drugs, you can also have it when you're working out with friends. For example, you're having the most fun and then at one point you're getting like overburned, even at works, or you are losing this fun and you're like, something with me, I mean, like, you already went through the highest point, you already had the orgasm, you're not feeling anything, you'll not feel anything as high as it was, you know. Either you have to low-key make another cycle for you to reach that high again, go backwards, but I cannot explain it now. I don't think it's good to, because you cannot maybe go even backwards, or you create a new cycle, because you'll not go back to that orgasm anymore. Like, even like when you reach the highest point, you already, it's like even when you eat food, you know, you already ate the most sweetest part of the cake, therefore the cake itself, other parts of the cake will not be, oh, I'm looking good here, therefore another parts of the cake will not be as sweet as the sweetest point of the cake, you know. The similar concept, the similar shit. So yeah, that was about like your internal cycles which you have, and also it goes towards your blood flow, it goes towards your different aspects like physical matters. Also girls have it as their menstrual cycles and shit like that. The same kind of concept you have with new moon, full moon, just on a different kind of level. You can even peep that low-key. You can see that what happens to the new moon, the difference between the new moon and the full moon, you know, how you felt before about something and how you feel about it now, and the time that you were investing into it and shit like that. But that's like the building shit, right? So as I said before, and you have a video of me saying about like you putting your attention to different shit, now you build something. The same as here, as I mentioned with the ground and the farm and the roots and shit, that you already have something growing there, therefore it's easier for you to grow there. The same, you can turn that ground into a building and see like you're already building a building upwards and shit. Yeah, and I also wanted to touch a little bit the zodiac part, where you have, as I said, you have 12 o'clock, right? You have the clock, not 12 o'clock. You have a clock, and you have the same, as I said, the highest peak, the lowest point, the birth and the set. And here you have also like Aries, Taurus, which Aries itself fire, Mars energy gives this initiation. Taurus is more like you know, actually working and pushing that shit. How you have I mean, like, Taurus is a bull, right? And you have representations of bull back in the den, the ones who actually push and through the ground, and yeah, so that's the shit. Then you have Gemini, which is like the mutual part, which is the flexibility between spring and summer. Then you have summer, aka the feeling seasons. Now you have the highest point, kinda, yeah, getting to the highest point, because I mean, wait, the highest point is from 12, right? Soul 2, so that's actually Cancer season, that's actually Cancer itself. So you have now emotions, you know, emotions, water, and shit like that. Then you have Leo, which is also summer, a sign which is ruled by the sun, or yeah, is ruled by the sun. Summer itself, the like bunch of light, bunch of expressions, light, want to be seen for that light, aka Leo, you know. That's why Leos are like kings. You can have a Leo as a king, you can have a Leo as a actor who likes to be on the stage and be praised and shit like that. Then you have Virgo, which is more mutable sign, between summer and how you call it, fall. Yeah. Then you have Libra, aka balancing shit out. Then you have Scorpio, aka death itself. Then you have mutual sign Sagittarius, which goes to the winter point. And then you have Capricorn, aka boss, Aquarius, aka also bossy, but like more not intelligent, but more like flexi boss, if I can say it like that, put it that way. Because first you create, Capricorn you put stages, and then you are seen as that shit. So actually you have oppositions between Leo and Aquarius, where Leo is just like energies, power, fire and shit like that, and Aquarius the opposition, aka you being associated with it, actually you putting that fire, flame, that expression to use. Now you're an actual actor and not just like a guy who walks around and everybody thinks he is super over emotional and expressive and shit like that, you know. That's the opposition. Then you have last but not least Pisces. The transition between winter and spring. So yeah, I think that's basically it for your cycles or of the 4 seasons. And as I said before, this kind of concept you can even go by yourself and just look around and see it in different aspects within you, back in your time, outside. And yeah, also like I mean, like, if I don't know if I will say it now, but I can just throw a little, if I already thought about it, then I'll just throw it in. That, for example, you have in a lot of mythologies you have trees, right? Trees being as something very important part. For example, in Scandinavian for example, in the Scandinavian or in Norse mythology, you have a tree as the surface on which you have different worlds, right? Then you have in the Bible, you have also a tree which made the whole timeline till now in their myths happening and shit. Everything was initiated low-key because of the tree and shit like that. And yeah, I mean, like, I'm not sure about different other ones, but you also have, like, for example, I mean, like, a tree is just like something standing. And about, yeah, somebody called me and I cannot yeah, I will cut it. I got it. I will edit it. Yeah, and about the trees, that, for example, even due to the fact that people before maybe understood it better, because now at this point when you go out you already have so many problems in your head, you already have so many, as soon as you wake up, even even in your dreams, the whole shit, you have so much shit in your mind that you, like, you know, it's not, people say that people back then in the time they were hella stupid, but to be honest, in my point of view, wait, I'll be back. In my point of view, yeah, they're not stupid, but I'll be back. Getting back to I fucked up not big time though, but yeah, I went to the place to pick up a book, but I was on the wrong address, completely wrong address. So you always have to check, because I already received it like 2 days ago, a package there, but it was a wrong one. So yeah, so you check shit before. But I mean, like, no, life is life, you know. I know. I went inside, got some good vibes, gave some good vibes to the people, and went out. So yeah, was not for nothing. So yeah, and the point that I wanted to get across, if you can say that, like that, that people now think that people before were hella stupid. But I mean, like, I don't fuck with the concept of being smart or stupid. You cannot say a person is smart. how you base that, on which aspects do you base if a person is smart or he's not smart. Okay, if the person read a lot of books, okay, he went through the same cycles, he invested a lot of energy, attention into that shit. Of course he knows more than the other guy who invested more time into some different aspects. Maybe one guy invested more time into reading shit about biology, psychology, and another guy spent a lot of time into like building cars and shit, you know. But those are two completely different shit, and you cannot say one is smarter than the other. And that's going back to my video about we live in a Saturn world where you have hierarchy, and already the hierarchy shows, because you have a specific hierarchy, right, shows that you can actually have this concept of a person being smart or a person being dumb, because you have this hierarchy, and PhD says that you are smart and you going by your own is you being dumb or something like that. But yeah, and people now think that people before were actually dumb, but yeah, I don't agree with this fact, due to the fact that now at this point a person, as I mentioned before, as soon as he gets out, so much shit is happening, so much shit is on his mind, and he's so lost into different shit, he's so invested into putting attention to different shit, and need going that specific, let's say, laser beam that you of attention that you shoot also gets to the cycles of your life. You also give birth to it, you also give life to it, you also give death to it, you also give death to it. You fall to it, and then you give death to it. Yeah. Also here, back in the days they only had like 9 months. They only had, like in the Vikings time, they only had like 9-month cycle. So basically, fall and winter was low-key the same concept. You had spring, maybe 4 seasons. Then you had summer, 4 seasons. Then you had winter or fall, 4 seasons, which was actually the death in general. That's why now you call fall death and the winter itself death too. In literature you can see that. But yeah, so yeah, people now actually think that people before were hella dumb, but people then, they were not invested into all this bullshit. They didn't have politics. Maybe they had, but it was like on the most easiest level, where you know the most oldest guy who is actually not doing it for the money, because back then there was no money, but for the mutual help of everybody, and due to the fact that he's the more knowledgeable guy, or the most psychic guy, or the most, yeah, who is actually, who, like shamans, you had shamans, right, people who like magic and shit, people who were hell of psychic, and they understood the shit that goes around and shit, you know. They were more invested into that, because if you have everybody being invested into that shit, you'll have nobody doing swords, ships, yeah, I know, food, grounds, houses and shit like that. So you need to have like different people being devoted to different shit, and that was like a bloodline going on and on and on and shit like that. Yeah, and then or you had the most like, or you had elders on the top, right? Due to the fact that they were hella knowledgeable and they understood some shit, for you to not already go from it to through that shit again, but actually building onto that shit. So shit like that, right? So back then, yeah, nobody was invested into politics. Nobody was invested how much money I have in my pocket. Nobody was invested, should I cross this this road on the red light or on the green light, if I'll get busted, if I'll get fucked by the popos, will they give me a fee, how I will pay this fee. Instagram attention, do I have a girlfriend, do I don't have a girlfriend, how I'm being seen, how are my hobbies, how old I am, and how are the people around me in this age are dealing with the stuff that I'm dealing with and shit like that. So you have so much shit on your mind that is crazy. Just chill out, nigga. Just chill out, please. for your well-being, right? Yeah. So back then, those dumb people, they didn't give a shit about all this shit. All they cared about is making holidays in winter, summer, spring, and fall, for them to know which time they're going through. Therefore, they will know what to do, type shit like that, you know. And so yeah, they were back then. They were just chilling. I forgot they got them. Oh yeah, so they had more time on their hands to actually live life and not being not being invested into all this made up fake ass how you call it, like the made up, yeah, I forgot it. I know you have original biomechanic, I know, I forgot the word. Like you have people saying don't eat this fruit because this fruit is yeah, poisonous. I'm still sick. Yeah, and this world made me sick, goddamn. Yeah, and yeah, they had more time on their hands for them to just look around, for them to experience different shit, be more invested into themselves, into their feelings, into their thought patterns, into their life, because they didn't have all this like take up your phone, look at Instagram, Telegram, what the fuck they're saying there, looking at TV, then looking at the window, from the window looking at the cars, how they blink in my yeah, I forgot, I didn't find the rhyme. Yeah, and so they were actually philosophers, because you did your job, you found food, you don't have to have so much fucking food, because you will still not be able to eat it all. You'll just eat, you will have enough, you're like, yeah, I have some food for today and tomorrow I'll get the food for after tomorrow, and it doesn't take too much time. It will take 3 hours, 4 hours of your day, that's it. Therefore you have more time for you to be invested into your kids, be invested into your hobbies, be invested into yourself, and just learn that shit. And due to the fact, let's say you're just this like guy back then, let's imagine this idea, concept that they have gave birth to, let's put it through the summertime, as we are in right now. Yeah. So imagine you're this like, I'm not saying old granny or something like that, you can be you, but back in that time you already did all your job, now you're chilling, let's say on some type of back then made sofa, you're just sitting there chilling and shit, smoking the zoot. I would smoke a zoot, that's for sure. You don't want to smoke a zoot, you don't have to smoke a zoot, you can drink wine, you can drink whatever you want, you can just sit there and be sober and sunbathe. So yeah, you just sit there and you have a tree that you invested into, or your father invested into. You're just sitting there and looking at the tree, and that goes almost every day, or let's say one time in a week, but you're observing it through the whole cycle, right? I'm talking still about the tree that I mentioned, I don't know when. You're talking about the tree? Me? Excuse me, pardon me. Yeah. And you're examining this tree. Of course you see it going through different cycles, right? You see everything else going through different cycles, but I feel like the tree is kind of more visible, because if you look it on the ground, okay, you can have river, right? The river, I mean, like the above part froze, but inside it still lives and shit like that. But the tree actually represents you closer and more than the river, or maybe a hill or a mountain or some other shit. And you have a tree, right, with a thick core, with bones and shit, with roots. Then also you have the fact that it's low-key connected to the upper part and to the down part, physically and metaphysically, where it absorbs water from the ground and is being grown in the ground, and it needs sunlight for it to get that melanin and shit. I think so, or chlorophyll. I don't know what the fuck is that. What is the actual name? Yeah. And then you just sitting there, and you see it going through the cycles. You see the birth of it, you see the summer of it, you see the fall of it, you see the winter of it, and how it experiences it. And low key through that, it already. Imagine you explaining the cycle, right? You can draw a circle, but the circle can be anything. But you need to look and have a symbol, and a tree is a good symbol of life. You have a tree of life, right, Yggdrasil? Then you have a tree also of life, which is like, I don't know if it's a tree of life, but I think it's a tree of life. The same shit, kind of the same story with the same moral, just made in different words, in different pages, in different aspects. Because we live in the Saturn world, where one energy can be put into different type of shades and made different senses out of it and shit like that. But yeah, and going back to the tree, so you have this tree which is being connected to the upper and the bottom part, as above as below part. It going through the 4 cycles. It actually being changed through the 4 cycles. And now you get it in your mythology, because it's a very good concept of you showing not only how you also react to the seasons, but also shows that how the upper part plays a big role for your body part. And your upper part can be your head, can be your mind, and it affects your mental state. And the bottom part could be your physical body. You're actually getting motivation to do something. You actually being depressed because of your mental, let's say, illness. You're getting depressed, and then it, as a blood flow turns, it makes you sit like that, or get those things under your eyes and shit, right? So that's just like a little addition to the 4 cycles. But it's still able to tie with that shit. I mean, like in this video we also explained that there's no such a thing as smart or dumb, because you don't have actual concepts that says how to see if the person is smart or dumb. Like IQ is ancient. I have a friend of mine who did an IQ test. If those are actually her words, but I don't think she actually lied. If those are actually her words, then then she had 0 points on IQ, and she's 20 years old. Imagine, like, what the fuck? It's already, that fact alone already debunks that what the fuck is IQ test. Don't invest your fucking time, your money, your taxes into that shit. Don't invest into that shit. Like, better buy yourself a microphone or a TV or a camera and just do something. Imagine, bro, how fucked is this world? You don't have money for you to buy your camera, and you're working fucking 24/7 still, but you are paying taxes for people to invest IQ tests for invest to create IQ tests, which don't actually say shit. They just say how much more time you invest into their Babylonian or Saturn world, or their concept of rulement. You know, how much people that they care about, how much music labels that they want to show out, videos that they don't ban on YouTube. They want you to know, because if something go against something that is not giving you not an advantage, but it's not benefiting you, then why the fuck you even have to invest your time into that, right? Just cut that shit out from YouTube and from the history too, and from all the fucking narratives and novels and shit like that. But or you will not just be popular, that's it, because nobody wants to show you in front of overall mirror portal to different worlds and shit. But yeah, and we talked about the tree, which you have, yeah, that people were not done before, and then you had the tree which is visible everywhere, and you may think why maybe the tree, and we say that the tree is because it's connected to the above and the below, and therefore you also have different mythologies growing from there, where you have Zeus and his wife Hera. Zeus, which was the, let's say, the sky, and Hera, I don't know what's her name, who was the earth or the ground, and they were creating kids, right? So you actually have the weather, the sun transits, the sky affecting what is being grown. Because if in the summertime you'll get or in springtime you'll get a very cold spring or summer, your crops may not even grow, you know. So that's the effect of Zeus on Hera, and them creating different kids out of it. But that also goes to your mind, to your heaven, to your sky, and to your ground, you know. How your ground affects the crops that grow in your body, the blood flows, the expressions, the mimics, the smiles, all the other shit, even the skin and routine and shit like that, and it goes more and more and more beyond. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, like, I already went across, I already proved my point a bunch of times, or made my point clear. I hope so. I think so. It has to be. There's no other way. And I made it kind of long, but enjoyed. I had a good time, you know. I had a good time. So yeah, just enjoy your life. As I always maybe say, enjoy your life, have fun, and do you. Peace.